Hey everybody, how you doing today? It's another day for cooking, and I've got a really cool dish. It's called Chashu. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Chashu, Chashu. Japanese pork is basically what it translates to, and you don't use, a ham or a round or ribs or anything like that. We're actually using pork belly, uncured, unsmoked pork belly. Yes, that is a thing. It's not all made into bacon, okay? So, very simple recipe, not too many ingredients, but it takes a long time to cook. We're going to boil it or not actually boil, but simmer for, probably close to 2.5 to 3 hours. And then it just sits in the hot liquid for another 2 hours after that. So it's only coming up on 12:30 right now, and I need to get this going so we can have it for dinner tonight. Let's get going. Okay, so here's my pork belly, and as you can see, I got it rolled up and trussed. I did not film that. I didn't actually think of filming it until after I'd already done it. So roll it up, tie it up, ready to go. I got 2 cups of water. I'll also need 2 cups of the low sodium, no sodium soy sauce substitute that we made. I'll need a cup of Aji Miran. I think that's how you pronounce it, Aji Miran. And I need 1 cup of that. I also need 1 cup of sake. This happens to be an Asian pear flavored sake, but that will work just fine. I need a 1/2 cup of sugar. I need a dozen cloves of garlic. I forgot to pick up garlic when I was at the store, so I'm just going to use the minced garlic, and I need enough for a dozen cloves. I need 4 inches of ginger, 2 shallots, and about a dozen green onions. Okay, now the recipe that we found to make this did not say what to do with that vegetation. It doesn't say to mince it or cut it up or anything like that, but I am going to do a little bit of processing on it. I'm going to cut the green onions in probably about thirds, cut the shallots in at least half, and of course I'll peel and cut off 1-inch slices or so of the ginger. And then the garlic cloves, if I actually had the garlic cloves, I would at least crush them and go with that. So let's get into measuring this. Everything goes into the pot and gets simmered. Oh, and one of the other optional things that you can do to this, and I think it's more traditional if you do it, and I'm not going to do it, is that you actually par cook the pork, and I'm just not going to do it. They say that it removes impurities. Well, you know what, if you wash down the pork once you get it, you should be fine with just that. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so here's the pot that I'm going to put everything in. First thing in is the pork. Just place it in there. Pretty decent fit. I will add my 2 cups of water. Give my homemade soy sauce a shake. Get all the garlic and the pepper and stuff in the liquid, so it's not all settled at the bottom. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, look at that, just enough. Cool. So there's my 2 cups of homemade soy sauce. And then I'm going to do 1 cup of the mirin. Looks like I got just enough mirin, so that's cool. This is our sake. We need 1 cup of sake. And again, you can use whatever sake you want. If you would just want a plain sake, you can do that. But we like this this Asian pear. It's really good. All right, now I'm going to need a 1/2 cup of sugar. Now for a dozen cloves, I would need 4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? just for the hell of it, 5. Okay, let's get down here and start processing this vegetation. All right, what I want to do is I only need about 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cut off this end right here. Just looks a little dry, so I'm going to toss that a little bit. And then I'm just going to peel it, get that skin off. Yes, I could use a vegetable peeler to do this, but I don't think I need to. Of course, it would also help if I had a slightly thinner blade. Okay, so I got that ginger all peeled up. Now I'm just gonna give it a rough chop, basically. There, that's good. So that's all I'm gonna do. Put those in. Now for the shallots, cut off the tops and bottom. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these and just cut them in half. And put those in the pot. All right, now we're going to do the green onions. Take off the rubber bands. I'll cut off the ends of the green onions. And then I think I'm just going to cut these up in, like I said, maybe 3 pieces. So do that. Put those in. Again, cut this off. Same thing with the other bunch. Go about there. Go about there. And that's it. All the prep is done. Okay, so I got my chashu ready to boil, so put the lid on, put it on high. Okay, so basically right now I have it on high heat, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. I really don't want to boil it. I want it at a low simmer, okay? So I just got the heat on high just to get it up to temperature. Once I see that it's starting to simmer, I'm going to turn it all the way down. All right, guys, I don't know if you can tell, but there's the liquid moving and kind of bubbling a little bit. That's all I really want. So I'm going to turn my burner all the way down. I'm going to start right now with just that medium-low setting. And I'll just check it every once in a while, make sure that it's not really boiling any harder than this. And I think I'll come back about halfway through the cooking process, so probably about an hour and a half from now, I will rotate that pork belly in there because it's not completely submerged. So hour and a half, rotate. Got it? Good. All right, guys, it's been about an hour and a half. It's actually boiling a little harder than I want. All right, but I want to roll the pork belly now. So here we go. So I'm just gonna roll it over and get the rest of it submerged. Oh yeah, that's looking good. All right, since I just rolled it, of course the boiling slowed down, so that's fine. Put the lid back on it. Gonna adjust my heat just a little bit. All right, guys, I just wanted to show you, I did turn my knob all the way to low, the setting, and I even moved the pan from here to back there just because I'm going to do a sauteed vegetable side dish here. So that's what is going on in there. Just a few pops of bubbles every once in a while, so a nice low simmer. And now it's time to turn it off. So now the pan is turned off, the pot is turned off, and it's just going to sit there for 2 hours, okay? After an hour, I'm going to come back, I'm going to rotate the pork belly again, and that way it kind of does what it needs to do. Because basically, I think the philosophy on this is that you've cooked out a bit of moisture and stuff out of the meat, and now as it cools, it's going to suck in some of that flavored liquid that's in there. So I think that's the philosophy on this dish. Okay, so I'll see you in about an hour when I'm going to roll that pork belly again. Just doing my rollover. There we go. We're getting close to dinner time, and I want to show you what I'm going to do for the side. Okay, I'm just going to show you the ingredients, and then we'll get into actually cooking it. So here we go. Here's what we're going to have. I got some sesame oil. I only need like maybe a tablespoon. I got about half a red onion sliced and about 6 cloves of garlic minced. These are the vegetables I'm going to use. They're green beans, carrots, yellow carrots, and red peppers. So that's the vegetable. We're going to saute this off in with this other stuff for maybe 5-8 minutes, something like that. We will deglaze with some of that sake that I used on the pork. And then I'm also going to add a tablespoon of oyster sauce, a tablespoon of soy sauce, and a half teaspoon of ground ginger, which I have all measured out in here. And then right at the end, we will add some sesame seed, maybe a squirt of honey. Haven't decided on that yet. Now, yes, I know because of the oyster sauce and that low sodium soy sauce, this is not going to be compatible with Jen, but this is just kind of a side dish. So, you know, maybe she just doesn't take as many vegetables, or maybe she'll even come up with something of her own. She's got some broccoli in there that she can pan sear, and you know, she's got other things that she can have as well. But right now, that's my plan. All right, guys, so I'm getting ready to make the side dish here. So let's get going on it. I'm going to put this on a medium-high heat. I'm going to put in roughly a tablespoon of oil. I tell you, I cut up my onions, and I've gotten so much juice out of them that it's like literally running down on the side here. All right, so I'm just going to give this a couple of minutes just to kind of warm up and start getting hot. Tell you, that pork smells good though. Holy cow. Oh, I can't wait to eat now. Grab my favorite wooden spoon. I just like how it's got a soft curve here and a harder edge corner here. I just really like this a lot. I mean, you can even tell even this little area here, because I beat it on the side of the pan all the time, you know, knocking off food and stuff like that, so it's kind of getting beat up. I love this spoon though. You know, and I've tried to find spoons like this in stores and stuff like that. I cannot find a spoon that looks like this anymore. So isn't that always the way? You find something you like, and then they turn around and they change everything. I know chefs, when they cook, they're constantly putting their hand over their pan like this because they're trying to figure out how hot the pan is. You know, if you can keep your hand there for a count of maybe 10 without, you know, hurting yourself, that's a low heat. If you put your hand there for a count of, say, like 5, it's a medium heat. And if you put your hand over it and you got to pull it away almost immediately, that's high heat, okay? All right, I'm going to say that's ready. Going to dump in my onions and garlic. Just saute this around a little bit. I'm trying to do this without burning the garlic, because if you start burning your garlic, then it's going to taste bitter. Okay, my onions are getting well wilted and soft, so I think I'm going to start dumping in my vegetables. Probably end up cooking this for 5 to 8 minutes just to get everything hot and cooked through. Now if you want, you don't have to use the same vegetable blend that I'm using. You can go ahead and maybe just use just green beans, or maybe actually get a stir fry vegetable blend that's got broccoli, cauliflower, peppers and stuff like that all in it. You know, I'm just using this one because it's one that we had in the freezer. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of that Asian pear sake. Be very careful when doing that because it could flame up on you. And never add alcohol to a pan, a hot pan especially, straight from the bottle. I have literally seen the flame go up and into the bottle. So do not sit there and glug, 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 glug. Don't ever do that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the soy, oyster sauce, and ground ginger. Just stir that in real quick. Still trying to decide if it needs the honey. I am going to put some in. Not a whole lot, just a little sweetness. And then I'm going to also add the sesame seeds. Yeah, heck with it. Just use the rest. All right, I'm going to kill the heat. There you go, guys. What do you think of that? That looks pretty good. Oh, check that out, guys. That looks good. Okay, to serve, you of course got to cut off the string. Now, because the pork sat in that liquid for so long, it's not super hot right now. So I can undo this string pretty well without having to go, ooh, ow, ow, ow. You know what I mean? All right, there's all the string. Now, of course, you could have just sat there and cut it all with a pair of scissors or something, but I didn't feel like doing that. All right, now you just cut yourself a nice medallion of this pork. There you go, look at that. I would say go at least a ½ inch thick. Then of course you got to add the veggies. There you go, guys. What do you think of that? Looks pretty good. This smells really good, guys. I'm glad I put in that little bit of honey just to add a little sweetness. That's really good. Okay, let's try some of this pork belly. Yeah, it just falls apart. That's amazing. That is really good. Super tender. You can taste every ingredient that I put in that pot. The green onion, the ginger, just everything. And you know, this is so simple to make, you know, the ingredient list is really short. It's just putting it in a pot for like 4 hours, you know, that's it. All right, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching. I will see you on the road. This is really good.